Yo, what's up guys, AJC here, and in today's video I'm going to be explaining to you the KSI and Jake Paul beef that has been brewing for the last couple of days. So before we get into it, first off, mean the world if you could like this video, and if we can get this video to 5,000 likes guys, I'll drop a part 2 as soon as possible. But also, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that red button down below if you want more YouTube news like this. But besides that, let's get straight into today's video. Okay, so where we left off last time with the whole Jake Paul and KSI beef is that KSI was defending himself of not being scared to fight Jake, but he is actually unable to train during this time during lockdown as he doesn't have a pro boxing license in the UK. Now I don't blame KSI for saying this because in Europe the pandemic is actually growing at one of the fastest rates possible, and it's caused a lot of countries to actually go into tier 4 lockdown, so I understand that it's very scary during this time. However, Jake Paul on the other hand thinks KSI is coming up with excuses, so he posted on Twitter this: KSI just said he needs a pro boxing license to train in the UK. These excuses are getting worse and worse. I just moved my whole team across the United States to Miami to train. The kid is a millionaire and has all the resources to find a way to train. KSI is officially a female dog. Sorry guys, I don't want to get demonetized. I'm trying to keep it G-rated, but yeah, that's what he said. I love how Jake Paul tries to back himself up, saying he's in the same situation when he said, I just moved my whole team across the United States to Miami to train. Jake, I don't know if you know this, but Miami is still in the United States. You're asking KSI to go to a whole different country during this pandemic. Like, I don't get how you cannot see this is not the same thing. Jake probably thinks this is what the world looks like right now. Like, we're just one big ass country. Like, what do you call it? Pangea? I don't know, but you know what I mean. Jake continued to say, and KSI, we can do an exhibition. We don't need to go through the whole license process, anywhere, anytime, any place. I'll do it in London so you can have all your fans there and you can be the A side. No one will remember who was A side when I turn you into a meme. No excuses now. It's funny how Jake tells KSI that he has no more excuses because Jake doesn't want to make it about money anymore. He just wants to make it an exhibition fight and prove to everyone that he's the better fighter. Yet Jake still hasn't responded to Dylan Moran, who was Conor McGregor's sparring partner, who he called out, and Dylan Moran even said himself he doesn't want any money, he just wants to fight him even at Floyd Mayweather's gym. So if there's anyone in this situation coming up with excuses, I don't think it's KSI, because Jake, you still have to respond to Dylan about what he said of offering you a fight. So before we talk about KSI's response to this tweet, True Jordy and Vidal actually had a podcast where they talked about who would actually win in a fight between KSI and Jake Paul, so this is what they had to say.
I can't see your guy beating Jake Paul. I'm telling you now, I can't see your guy beating Jake Paul. I know he's a bit of a dick, and I know he irritates people, but it cannot be argued with out of the full YouTube scene, on the data that we've got, on the fights that have been, he showed more boxing acumen than anybody else.
However, what I will say on behalf of KSI is what was put in front of him was harder. Was Logan Paul.
Yes.
And
Logan Paul can't box.
No, but the point I'm
he's a better boxer than someone that won a slam dunk contest.
If you look at what Nate Robinson, so
amazing.
I was thinking the same thing. But what I will say is, in terms of Jake Paul, I was thinking the same thing in terms of ability, what we've seen. But then you have to look at the Nate Robinson fight and you look at the Gibble fight, and I do think that Logan is a big guy and probably a tougher test than those two.
That's what I'm saying. On the fights that we've seen, it would be reasonable to say Jake beats KSI.
I don't think it's reasonable because the competition isn't comparable. That's what I would say. Because if you're gonna fight a guy that's had 4 months to that's learned how to box, he's had 4 months to learn, right? The best thing that they could do to promote this guy as a fighter was say that he's won the slam dunk contest 3 times, which has nothing to do with anything. Right? And you got a guy that's been boxing for 2-3 years consistently. Can you really say that he's a great boxer? Like,
so judging from this podcast, the majority of them do think that KSI can actually beat Jake Paul, except for this dude right here in the Bumblebee t-shirt. Now I don't know who he is, but his judgment is just as bad as his fashion sense, because he's absolutely crazy. But on the topic of KSI, he responded to Jake Paul's tweets and said, rent-free in his head, LMAO. Now KSI really hasn't said too much on the topic, and he's kind of like Conor McGregor, where he'll only kind of respond to Jake when it's time and when he gets asked on interviews and things like that. But Jake responded with a video that he posted on his Instagram story after his Anison Gibb fight, so there's what happened.
You gotta go in there. We need it, baby. You need it. You say you're gonna knock him out. You gotta get in there, man. Your man just got knocked out. He defended his honor. That's weak.
Okay, Okay, now I don't know who this bald man is, but I really don't understand why he's calling out KSI straight after the fight. Like, are you expecting him to just take off his shirt and just head into the ring and fight Jake again? Like, what's going on? But I'm gonna just give him the benefit of the doubt because he's bald, guys. He's probably missing his douchebag hair, so we'll just give him this one. But Vidal, who's KSI's coach or trainer, actually had this to say about the Jake Paul versus KSI situation, so there's what he had to say.
Logan stepped up and said, I'll fight you. Yeah. Jake wanted no part. He wanted to fight his little brother, so don't come back 2 years later because you've had a bit more experience now and start calling people out because you've got some confidence building period. JJ went in deep. He went straight in the deep end. So now Jake's saying, oh, KSI, where are you? Where are you? We asked for you first. Only now you've built some confidence. You want to step up to the plate. So people that are not there from the beginning won't know these things, but these things should be taken into it.
So this may come as a shock to you, to all of you that didn't know Jake Paul and KSI back in the day, but KSI actually called out Jake Paul first, and Jake Paul was too scared to fight him. That's why Logan stepped up to the plate, because one, he wanted to fight and also get more clout, because he was kind of in the situation where, you know, guys, he had his relapse of judgment, if you know what I mean. But KSI actually called out Jake first, and Jake was too scared back then to actually fight KSI. So it's funny that it all turns around that Jake Paul just knocks out one NBA player and two YouTubers that still never boxed before, and now he wants to have this confidence that he can fight KSI. But Vidal continues on in this podcast to mention on why he actually thinks KSI can beat Jake Paul, so here's what he had to say.
There's one thing that JJ has, I've felt personally, and I've seen, is power, right? And you don't ever write anyone off that has power. Yeah. I'm an honest person. My dad's an honest person. We hang around honest people, and everyone will agree that JJ's power is a problem, right, to anybody. Have we seen, was Jake as eager to get in the ring so soon after fighting Deji? Was he so eager? No, because it was actually a fight. It actually makes you think, hold on a second, I need some time out here. He wasn't as eager.
Kind of a good thing for JJ in a sense, though. Because what you would want is that he can be quietly confident. Jake is the aggressor in a sense, and that he gasses himself, and then JJ steps in as like his reality. Yeah.
JJ goes into a fight with Jake. I'm going to tell him and make him have fights before that. Because I need to put my guy in the best position to win, right? And to put him in the best position to win is not to have him out the ring for 18 months, 24 months against a guy that's fighting every 6 months. It's, of course, to make it more level, you need to have some fights in between too.
So I think everyone, whether you're a boxer or celebrity that wants to fight Jake Paul, or people like us that aren't really big fans of Jake Paul, we all just want to see that man get knocked out. He's been talking reckless, he's been gassing himself up to be one of the best fighters ever, and whether you love him or hate him, you gotta admit, it makes you want to watch this fight more happen between KSI and Jake Paul. But like Vidal said, if Jake Paul ever decides to fight KSI, I think KSI will need to fight some undercard people first before he works his way up back to Jake Paul, since he's been out of the boxing scene for about 18 to 20 months. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.